I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night. Thanks for watching. What the heck is happening in the news? We got our man Cleveland Brown. Cleveland, you there?
Excuse me, hello.
And we got
There's something I gotta tell you.
the Cleveland Brown soundboard to help us make sense of what's happening in this news. It's kind of bizarro. If you go back to the early 80s and you wanted to explain to people what's happening in 2021, in 1981, people will look at you and say, put this guy in a back in the day when people started losing it, they were put in asylums and they used to wear straitjackets because they were deemed as crazy or unfit. So basically they pose a threat to themselves. And yeah, well, that was back in the days when people actually got help when they, I don't know, was it help? I don't know. Comment below.
How you doing?
All right, guys, don't forget to, let's go to article scan here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please be nice, subscribe, and share videos. Don't forget to follow me and send me show tips here on Mike Martin's Official on Instagram. I appreciate that very, very much. Also, okay, well, let's kick it off. What's going on? Cryptocurrency and regulation of official digital currency bill 2021 and legal framework ahead. So a lot of other countries are actually taking a look at this. And where is this happening? In India. India is going to start charging GST for every crypto trade. And they're looking, from what it's looking, it's mandatory reporting of sale and fluctuation of currency is no good for the economy. A range, so they're looking at different ranges here. Master Circle is issued by the RBI, the Royal Bank of India. So compulsory registration of cryptocurrencies, and if you're getting alternate crypto coins and where you're getting them, and what's your status of your stock, and an independent unit to be set up by RBI, Royal Bank of India, and defining crimes related to cryptocurrency. So there's a lot of alternative ways to launder money with cryptocurrency, and that's what, I kind of wanted to throw that out there first because it's kind of important. So the framework is being built, it's being thrown ahead, so I'm very interested to see where things are going to go with this, and what other countries are going to start implementing into law. All right, guys, so Sydney's final lockdown laws axed to revive the CBD. So the downtown, Sydney's remaining lockdown laws will be axed next month, and restrictions on King's Cross will be lifted to allow venues to open beyond 1:30 in the morning in a push to revive the city's COVID-hit economy. The changes mean last drinks across the city will be served until 3:30 in the morning. So there it is right there. Sydney's reopening. The American elections are done. I'm pretty sure, like, a lot of people have got the gist of it, and they get it. People get it. The American elections have come to an end. And they don't have to worry too much. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing has done what it had to do to get things rolling. And Canada is the complete opposite of this, because what they want to do in Canada, I know they want to get a snap election going, and from there they want to get things rolling with mail-in ballots because of the strains that are arriving in Canada, and we'll get to that in a second. Cleveland, anything to say?
Cleveland Brown?
Uh-huh.
Who am I?
Okay.
Mr. Joe Torre.
And
how you doing?
Okay. So Canada lost 213,000 jobs in January as lockdowns took a giant bite out of the job bite. So jobless rate goes up to 9.4%. Canada's economy lost 213 jobs. This is all mainly private sector jobs, guys. Jobs that actually fund the public sector or government jobs. This is a major issue, guys. This is not something to laugh at. More businesses to close their doors across the country. There it is. And without a private sector, there's no way to fund without a private sector, there's no way to fund the public sector, guys, and that's just how it works.
Let me ask you something.
And Nevada bill will allow tech companies to create governments. This is very dangerous. I urge you to go and take a look at this. This is from News 4 on your side. Carson City, Nevada planned legislation to establish new business areas in Nevada would allow technology companies to effectively form separate local governments. Wow. You think you have enough layers of government? You got what, 3? In Illinois, you got 4 layers of government. In New York, you got 3 layers of government. You don't need, it's like adding an extra tax, an added value tax. You don't need more governance, especially in a workplace. So the zones would permit companies with large areas of land to form governments carrying the same authority as countries, including the ability to impose taxes, again, extra layer of taxes, from school districts and courts, and provide government services. What the heck is going on with this? Wow. So zone requirements would include applicants owning at least 78 square miles, 202 square kilometers of undeveloped, uninhabited land within a single county, but separate from any city, town, or tax increment area. Companies would have at least 250 million and plans to invest an additional 1 billion in their zones every 10 years. That is a very interesting, weird prospect, and I spell danger. What do you think about this, Cleveland?
Will you please leave us alone?
Yeah, that's what's going to happen here, guys. This is something we should really start in depth looking at, because I read the headline and I thought, okay, there's something cool. What are they thinking? But this is not a good. This could form independent, wealthy areas for people with their own countries. What is it, 250 square miles? That's way bigger than, that's a lot, way bigger than Hawaii. So, I mean, yeah, you could get something going on 202 square kilometers. Very interesting, guys. This one threw me for a curveball. China to seriously sanction and boycott any boycotters of the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. So there it is. Chinese state media is threatening Western officials and nations with serious sanctions should there be a large-scale attempt to boycott the China-hosted Winter Olympic Games scheduled for 2022.
Oh, look who it is.
It's China.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, let's move on. This one here. This is from CP24. Ontario lost more than 153,000 jobs. That's just in the province of Ontario. Of Canada. Okay, let's move on. Okay, what does this say? Majority of Canadians outside of Alberta and Saskatchewan support COVID detention centers and jailing people who spread misinformation. So anyone, I like how they photoshopped this. You can tell it's fully photoshopped. They want to jail people who spread misinformation. What does that mean? Are they talking about this weirdo news that's happening?
As hard as this is for me to say.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, eh? So, majority of Canadians support the federal government's move to set up detention centers to deal with COVID-19 pandemic, according to a new poll conducted by Campaign Research. The rest of the world will open up. Canada won't. Canada needs to do mail-in ballots. There's no other way around this. A majority also support finding and jailing people who spread COVID-19 misinformation. A large omnibus poll generally showed that Atlantic Canada, especially Quebecers, to be the most strongly in favor of militant enforcement of government COVID measures, while Albertans and Saskatchewan to be the most resistant. Wow. So majority of Canadians are saying, look, they just want this. They want to start jailing people who create any form of misinformation. What is we're being misinformed. We haven't been told a single truth since day one. Listen to this, guys. Vietnam calls 100,000 poultry as bird flu spreads to 14 provinces. There you go. There's the next one. Reports Vietnam called more than 100,000 chickens this year as an outbreak of the avian flu hits poultry farms in more than 12 provinces. There it is. It's the H5N6 blue strain, bird's flu strain has spread to 14 provinces in 39 days.
May I call you Hadassah?
Okay, let's move on. Government confirms mandatory hotel quarantine to be introduced from 15th of February. From 15th of February, anyone traveling to the UK from a country on the UK's travel ban list will be required to quarantine in a government-approved facility for 10 days. That's almost every country except China. If you're coming in from China, that's okay. And killer profits, how big pharma hoards money, harms patients. New report by Republican Representative Katie Porter reveals devastating effects on big pharma mergers and acquisitions on U.S. healthcare systems and patients. Yeah, it's a big gug show. I hope I'm not making you.
As hard as this is for me to say.
Hope I'm not making you guys yawn. It's late here. I just want to get this really out for you guys. AstraZeneca vaccine being tweaked to fight the South African variant. It's being tweaked. In London, developers of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine expect to have modified jab to cope with the South African COVID variant by autumn. The vaccines, by autumn, so they're pushing this, so the lockdowns need to stay in place. Well, everywhere else is going to get fed up. They're just going to reopen because no one's gotten the flu this year, and I don't know what's going to happen next flu season. I'm not looking forward to next flu season because, again, it's going to be some other variant of New Zealand clamps down on property investors as price soar. See, New Zealand was hoping that the prices would go down, but property prices, we covered this on Commonwealth for Common Folks on Wednesday night. Joining us on a live show, we had a couple of folks on from New Zealand telling us that look at the house price inflation, and this is not wages, but this is the 1-year mortgage rate. You could easily, in comparison, show where wages have gone. Look, let's pretend this yellow line does not have any representation at all with wages, but let's pretend it is. So wages, and then you see this deflationary, people making less money here. Why? Because of COVID. So if you see here from 2020, COVID kicks, wages go down, and the price of housing goes up. I know this is the mortgage rate. I understand that. But this is what it looks like from how wages haven't been keeping up to housing in New Zealand. New Zealand is turning into another region, autonomous region of China. Russia, Iran, and China to hold naval drills as a CENTCOM chief blasts Iran as a driver of instability. That's going to go on forever. Now that we have a new president, now America has a new president-select, it's going to be very interesting where it goes from there. 4 UK mega prisons planned. So I'm not sure. This is more COVID related. People that dissidents or people that protesters. I think this is more designed. Some methods go. That's how tired I am. Some months ago, it came to my attention that a series of huge prisons were being built across the country. Are people in power foreseeing a sudden surge in criminal population, or is there another intent of these? So there it is. You don't have to be an expert to ask why such luxury measures are being put in place for potential lawbreakers. So there it is right there. There's a breakdown of it. It looks pretty sniffy. It looks pretty. Look at it. There it is right there. Mega prison. Wow. Looks pretty trendy is what I was trying to say. Global markets see inflation breaking out to multi-year highs. I was looking at my portfolio today. I was just selling. A lot of things going up. Bloomberg, global markets from the U.S. to European bonds and stocks and oil are sending a clear signal. Inflation is finally coming back. The market implied a pace of U.S. Consumer price increases briefly accelerated to the fastest since 2014, and a 30-year Treasury yields temporarily topped 2% for the first time in a year as rising expectations for an economic recovery fueled an oil rally. Over in Europe, a swap market gauge of future inflation is close to its highest level since 2019. So there it is right there. Let's continue here. Where were we? No. So many stories, man. Let's close a few of these. Okay, we just read that one. Thanks, guys, for being here. Scientists warn oil will be depleted in less than 30 years. I think they're going to do a run on oil. Every time they do this, they did this back in the early 90s, and oil just skyrocketed, and people were sailing steady off good dividends on good oil stocks for years. Then the Bush 1 administration came in, and then Bush 2 administration. Oil barons were laughing. And then, boom. 2014? they crashed. 2015, oil went to almost $20, $30, if $20 US a barrel. So $22 US a barrel. I can't remember. Just check your graphs. You see what I'm talking about. Yeah, and the oil is, so now I think they're pulling the oil will be depleted in the next 30 years. They're going to reverse that game so oil investors can start living off the cushy dividends from these companies. That's what I think. Parents sue Robinhood after 20-year-old son commits suicide over options confusions. I'm not going to show his photo. I'm just going to respect that. I'm really, you know how I feel about with these. They're calling it, what are they calling it? Robbing the hood to pay the rich. That's what they're calling it. Robbing the hood. Jab for a job is legal. Ministers believe that companies that force their staff to get a COVID vaccine in order to work would be protected by health and safety laws. Wow. Holy smokes. Bosses who demand their staff to get the COVID vaccine in order to work would not be breaking the law. Ministers believe potentially, this is coming from England. Holy crap. Bosses can legally demand employees to vaccinate against COVID. Under existing health and safety laws, staff must protect themselves and others. Vaccine Minister Nadim said vaccine passports were discriminatory. Okay. Guys, I don't know about this, man. People shouldn't be forced to do, this is not a good thing. And there's the number of infections per day in the UK. So this is what they're trying to tell us here. I think people should be able to. So this guy right here wants to make vaccine. He's saying he wants to make. Says he's been talking to his lawyers about making the vaccine mandatory for all new hires within a few months. Wow, that's scary stuff, folks. Tesla buys $1.5 billion in Bitcoin as Elon Musk jumps on board with cryptocurrency. So there it is. $1.5 billion in Bitcoin in January in a non-traditional move to diversify its investments. So there it is. So people that say Bitcoin, you shut off the computers and the machines and the Bitcoin disappears. There's no asset. Well, Elon Musk begs to differ because he believes that there's obviously a future in Bitcoin. And if you want to drop $1.5 billion to diversify, holy macaroni. So there it is right there, folks. I kind of wanted to throw that out there for you. Holy smokes. Let's keep going forward today. Prime Minister reveals plans for travel bubble with popular tourist destinations. Oh, Scotty Morrison, the Prime Minister of Australia. The PM added health case systems in Pacific countries aren't the same as ours. Man accuses of... Okay, I'm not going to read that. Australia and New Zealand have more success containing the COVID infection compared to countries like US, Brazil, and the UK. Woo! All right. Let's move on. White House. Health officials concerned about after maskless Super Bowl celebrations in Florida reaches 200 variant cases. Latest COVID updates, 200 variant cases. People are partying it up. On the same day, it hosted Super Bowl LV, what is that, 55? Or are we at Super Bowl 55? Is that 55? That's 55. Florida on Sunday became the first state to report 200 cases of the COVID. Oh, 200. Oh, my God. And variant. And the Kent. And the Brazil one. And Inglaterra. That means England. Inglaterra. So let's move on. COVID. Why Australia's world-class quarantine system has seen breaches. So there it is right there. So far, more than 211,000 people have gone through this quarantine. It's costly but effective method that is used to only a few other nations such as New Zealand, South Korea, and Singapore. So despite this, further quarantine breaches have caused Australia's only virus scares in recent times in Adelaide in November and Brisbane last month, and in Perth and Melbourne in the past week. So... interesting. Strict 7-week lockdown would nearly wipe out all COVID cases in Alberta, says expert. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. There's a lot of mathematics here that I don't know what I'm reading. And Fauci, we've got to get the entire world vaccinated. Dr. Anthony Fauci, who has insisted people should continue to adhere to stringent public health measures even after getting vaccinated, said the Chinese COVID will remain a threat, which is why officials need to ultimately get the entire world vaccinated. Wow, these are pretty strong words here. And what's this one here? UK government to fluoridate the nation's water supply. So there you go. They want to. Oh, whoa.
Rollo? May I call you Hadassah?
Powers to fluoridate the country's water supply will be handed to the government within weeks. Oh my God, the governments are taking more and more power, and they're taking more and more away from us. I've seen what fluoridated water does. I've talked about this on my previous YouTube channel before it got taken down, and the dangers. I even got doctors, to talk about it and stuff, and it was a big issue. I guess we can't hear the other side of the story, so let me know what you guys think. There's a lot of people that comment on fluoridated water here on the channel, so leave your comments below. What is going on here? Okay, first Brazilian, South African variant of COVID-19 identified in Toronto.
May I call you Hadassah?
Yep, there it is. Brazil. Te amo, Brazil. Salta. I speak Portuguese, my first language. I'm so disappointed with this, what they're spinning on us here. Don't stop at big tech. We need to break up big food monopolies. Big food monopolies. There was a documentary on Food Inc. I think it was called Food Inc. Guy broke down all the big monopolies, Kraft, Nestle, P&G, PepsiCo, all these companies, and they branch out to Kellogg's, all these massive companies here, and it's huge. Amid a congressional investigation and federal, state, and private antitrust cases, all eyes are on big tech. The step up in antitrust enforcement against the digital technology behemoths and their alleged abuses of market powers is, by all accounts, good news. Successful cases could resort to competition, which would benefit in smaller business and American consumers alike. After a decade of under-enforcement, the antitrust laws in the U.S., these cases could deliver some base hits and even home runs. So here it is. The food system, now that going into the food system, has been particularly fertile ground for raising concern, and the emergency of dominant firms and formation of domestic cartels. Some of the largest players have been allowed to engage in anti-competitive mergers and practices that are serious, if not more so, than those of which big tech's accused. So this is a really long article, guys, but I really wanted to throw this out there, especially if we get a disruption in the food supply, which is major. And I don't know if you guys saw my video about the price of food going up that I did, I think it's 5 years ago. It's on the channel still. It's called The Price of My Food is More Expensive Than My Rent. When I was living in downtown Vancouver, the price of food was so expensive to feed my wife, my daughter, my son, and myself was just getting out of control. This is before my second daughter was born. We had her here when we left the city. But yeah, this is a big deal. And we're going to end the transmission with Florida man. Florida man who ran on the field at Super Bowl 55 faces trespassing charge. What did the Florida man do, Cleveland?
What's your name?
Here it is. Let's take a look at the Florida man that ran on the field. And he has to pay a cash bond of $500. During the fourth quarter of the game, the defendant unlawfully jumped the fencing in the stands on the north side of the stadium, began to run across the field. Police wrote in the arrest affidavit. There it is. There is the Florida man. There you are, Florida man, caught running on the field before being tackled by a security guard. Whoa. There it is, Florida man. All right, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and be part of the channel. Let me type in my rent here and see if it comes up to... if I find that video from many years ago... right here. It's 5 years ago. I thought it was 6 years ago. Price of food has surpassed my rent. And from there, we've been talking about food prices for years now. And food it's dangerous. Once they start turning against us and using food, you're going to see food wars, guys. This is not going to be... We saw toilet wars in 2020. We saw toilet paper wars. And that wasn't nice. Imagine when food starts disappearing off the shelves. But I guess in England, they might not care too much because they're going to have their fluoridated water, keeping them nice and docile.
How you doing?
Anyways, guys, thank you, Cleveland.
May I call you Hadassah?
Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Look forward to reading your comments below, and we'll see you tomorrow.